Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, it's Jeff Fitzpatrick, and it's actually Sunday afternoon, Sunday, the 13th of July, 2025, and I'm recording my weekly video log. And throughout this, we will be selling puts and buying high quality, great value stocks with low buying power usage that can create plenty of income. So let's go. And as usual, we'll look at the market, we'll pick some stocks, and we'll see what else is happening in the trading system and the clubs. And first, the market. So here we've got two charts, one from Friday close of business, one from the previous week. We're still way up there at the all-time high level, but things have flattened out a little bit. Perhaps it's not surprising. We're coming into option expiration week. That's on this coming Friday. And also these days, I find that if we're going to get stock put to us early, it tends to be in the week that we've just finished. So in 1 week back from the week of expiration. And that happened with one of our stocks, but mostly we're doing really well, thank you. And the clubs. Some interesting information. I've been in discussion with Owen on this. What we're looking at here is the performance of the TICN 4x4 stocks. And it goes right back to the beginning of 4x4s in 2002. Unfortunately, the data only goes up to 2021. But the principle is there. And what you're looking at is the 4x4 stocks having higher highs when the market is up and going to lower lows when the market is down. That all points to quality stocks. That's actually a good chart. That's good news that I'm looking at there. What we've got here is the performance of the 4x4s. It's a wee bit strange because this would assume that you went right back to the beginning, 2001, and as each stock was discovered as a 4x4 stock, you'd buy some. And then each time a new one came along, you'd put new money in and buy some more. So it's not a very practical trading system, but if you had done that, this is the result. And it's compared to the S&P 500, and it's actually 5.6 times better. So again, it points to the stocks being good quality stocks. Now, what I've done here is compare a couple of things. So we've got way down at the bottom here, and I should say that the area to the right of this vertical line, that is projection. It's projection based on the performance to the left-hand side of the line. So it's not assuming any improvement. It's just taking what has happened. In the case of the TICN 4x4 stocks, that's right back to the beginning to 2001, 2002. And in the case of the S&P, I could take that back to the same time. But the stocks that I'm looking at for, I'm calling them Jeff stocks. Well, I can only base that on the last 12 months performance because we've only had the trading system in place for 12 months. But hey, I still like the look of it. We're doing rather well here. And I can show you that a bit further on the next slide. So these are some pros and cons. So we've got long-term trading, which is basically the TICN system, perfectly good system. It's you're accumulating stocks and getting income to pay for them. So that has been really good over the last 15 years, 6.86 times the S&P. Uh, Over the same period, projecting backwards, the performance that I've got on the short-term one is 8.53. But the long-term one actually excludes option and dividend income. So again, it's a bit strange because this is assuming you own those stocks rather than you sold puts on them. If you sold puts on them, you might have got in at a higher price. Also, there are lower costs involved in the long term. If you just buy stock and hold on to it, you're not trading as frequently, so you've got lower costs. And there's a lower work requirement, a significantly lower work requirement. You just have to wait for new 4x4s to be discovered and buy some. That's all it takes. Or sell puts on them. But it does require that constant new funds. Compared to the short-term system that I use, then we're buying stocks, when we buy stocks at lower prices. We're getting a bigger return, 24% greater return in the long run. But we do have higher costs because we're trading more, and also there is more work required. I'm constantly having to research to find the best stocks and also the stocks to get rid of. But it doesn't actually require any new funds. And in fact, the short-term system creates a lot more income, and that income can be can be used to buy stocks or to underpin the sale of more puts. One more chart to look at on this, and this is now, I brought Warren Buffett into the mix as well. So same thing, left-hand side sort of actuals, right-hand side projection. At the bottom there, we've got this, the scale doesn't help, I'm sure, but we've got the S&P 500. Going up to the next level, we've got Warren Buffett, very good compared to the S&P 500. Then we've got TICN, very, very good compared to the S&P 500. And then we've got the stratospheric short-term system. So that is why I trade the short-term system. Perhaps you should trade the short-term system, and if you want to know exactly how to do it, take my course. You can still do it online. The live one is finished, but you can do it. And this week's stock picks. And I've got to say that we had thin pickings this week. The market's very high. Therefore, a lot of the prices don't represent good value. But nonetheless, I've managed to find some. And that's after putting them through this 20-point filtration process. I won't go through them all. I did last week, but by all means, pause the video and have a look at them and see what you think. And here are my picks. So I've got LRN, which is Stride, and I've got Anglo Gold Ashanti, and I've got Alphabet, which is Google, of course. And I've given you the strike prices I'm looking at. They're all they're below the current actual prices. Expiry dates. The reason I've gone out to October for AU is there wasn't a September strike price available. So I've gone out to October. Then I've got the premiums involved, and they are the lower of the two quotes that stand at the end of the week. So I would actually expect to do better than those. Then I've got the annualized return on investment, and we've got at the top there LRN 146. Then we come to AU 118, and then we've got Google, which is 102. All very good. The last column notes that's where I'm putting in things that I don't like about the stock, and but not enough to stop me trading it. So, for example, we've got Stride there. The ZAX score for VGM, value, growth, and momentum, was a little bit low. And also, the sector that it's in was quite low out of the 16 sectors, meaning low is sort of number one. Number one is good, number 16 is bad. So it was high in that respect. And then also the headroom. The headroom is the distance there is between the current price and the high price for the last 52 weeks. We're a bit close to it. AU, that's the only point I had on that. It's also a bit close. And also on Google, it's actually a low industry, but there we go. And the headroom also was a bit close. Just another word on headroom. Statistically, the stocks that are most likely to get to increase in prices are the ones that are already at all-time highs. I just feel more comfortable personally if I've got a bit of headroom up to that last 52 weeks high. So there are my picks for the week. Note the wealth warning. This is educational only. Okay, as I mentioned, the course is still available. You can do the whole thing online now. It's 11 one-hour or so videos. You can work through them at your own pace and get in touch via the website, myinvestmentclub.co.uk, if you want to do that. You find in it everything I do, how I find these stocks, how I trade them, how I mitigate risk, the whole lot. And if you're interested, you can also join the WhatsApp group to see what people who've done the course are saying about it. And I have had some rave reviews. If you're not already a member of it, please join my Facebook group, The Extraordinary Stock Trading System. And if you're not already a member of one of the clubs, the Extraordinary Investment Clubs, then have a look at myinvestmentclub.co.uk. You can find more information about each of the clubs and how to join and how they work. And that's it, short and sweet for this week. Get back out and enjoy the sunshine.